Wunderschönen guten Tag zu dieser Live-Reaction von The Last of Us 2. Ihr seht gerade, ich bin hier gerade so ein bisschen, naja, in einem anderen Setting. Aus bestimmten Gründen, weil ich hier gerade das Zimmer umbaue und immer noch ein paar Probleme habe, hier alles aufzubauen. Deswegen habe ich nur einen Monitor und deswegen muss ich das über diese Lösung machen. Ich hoffe, es stört euch nicht. The Last of Us 2 bekommt jetzt eine 27-minütige Präsentation. Wir können also gespannt sein, was da alles so Neues auf uns zukommt. Neue Details zur PlayStation 5 wird es allerdings nicht geben. Wir schauen gleich mal, was dann bei rumkommt. So, der Chat gesagt gerade, Video ist ein bisschen zu laut. Ich habe es mal ein bisschen leiser gemacht. Ja, der Chat soll ja auch weg sein. Der Chat ist nicht aktiviert aus bestimmten Gründen. Ihr könnt es euch vorstellen. So. Dann schauen wir mal. Wir dürfen gespannt sein. Diep. Mauszeiger geht gleich weg, versprochen. Ich will noch ein bisschen das Mikro lauter machen. Oh, geil. Oh, die ganzen Szenen, die neu gemacht wurden, ne?
Ellie.
Also, sieht einfach auch so gut aus, ey.
I'm leaving tomorrow.
Oh Gott, ey, sieht das gut aus, das Spiel.
To do this smart, we'd be leaving Jackson vulnerable.
So they just get to get away with this?
Ich glaube, der Sound soll so sein. Aber
you can't stop this.
I want what you want, but not at any cost.
Ist so Damm. Oder Damm.
I really hope you make it.
I have to finish it.
There's a cost.
We could have killed you. Maybe you should have.
Das Spiel kann nur gut werden. Ich
I'm Neil
glaube.
Druckmann, Vice President of Naughty Dog and the Director of The Last of Us Part 2. We're just a few weeks away from launch on June 19th, when the game will finally be in your hands.
Ich krieg
The
Gänsehaut.
wait has been long, and we're extremely grateful for your patience, especially now in the midst of these unprecedented and challenging times. We hope you're all taking care of yourselves and that you, your friends, and your loved ones are doing well.
Es wird Streams auf
Because
Twitch
of these
geben, ja.
extraordinary circumstances, we can't be together in this final stretch and share the experience like we usually would. So today we're trying something different. Something we've never done before. Over the next 20 minutes or so, we're going to give you an in-depth look into what awaits you in The Last of Us Part 2, including new details about the gameplay experience and story. And to cap it all off, we'll be showing a never-before-seen, lengthy gameplay sequence. You'll definitely want to stick around for that.
Gameplay, Leute, Gameplay.
I don't know what happened. I was supposed to take her to the Fireflies and walk away.
Ich habe extra die deutsche Präsentation. Es gibt keine deutschen Untertitel offensichtlich.
The only catch. It would kill her.
The Last of Us Part 2 picks up Ellie and Joel's story several years after the events of the first game. Ellie and Joel have settled in Jackson, Wyoming, amongst a thriving community of survivors. With the threats of the world kept outside the town's walls, Jackson has been able to find relative peace and even stability. Ellie is now 19, lives on her own, and has been able to forge lasting relationships within the community.
Scale of 1 to 10. How would you rate our kiss from last night?
However, this peace is short-lived. Jackson and Ellie suffer a violent and traumatizing event.
Fand Ellie jetzt wohl nicht so toll, den Kuss.
Ellie sets off back into the treacherous outside world in search of retribution and justice. Her journey will take her to new parts of the country previously unexplored in The Last of Us. The story spans multiple seasons and climates, from the snow-capped mountains of Jackson
Alter, sieht das gut aus!
to the lush Pacific Northwest. Each
Auf
introduces
einer
a
Konsole
wide
von
range of exterior and
2013.
interior environments for you to navigate and explore, rendered in meticulous detail and unprecedented scale with the latest iteration of the Naughty Dog engine. Our goal was to make these environments not only beautiful, but feel as grounded and authentic to the cities they're based on as possible. Much of the story unfolds in what remains of Seattle, a massive former quarantine zone. Its locales are incredibly diverse, spanning a dense city center with a skyline of towering high-rises to the beautiful suburbs and stormy waterfronts that surround it.
Alter, leck mich
The
am
city
Arsch.
exhibits drastic shifts in architecture, elevation, and weather. And with Part 2, we've introduced new traversal mechanics that afford greater exploration and ways to navigate threats. Ellie is not only able to climb and jump over gaps, but she can use ropes to scale vertical terrain or swing over obstacles, allowing you to discover new areas, resources, and side narratives. These more open environments also create new strategic considerations in combat, whether it's to get the jump on enemies or bypass them entirely. The Last of Us Part 2 features some of the largest environments we've ever created. Horseback riding will allow Ellie to quickly cover some of these expansive terrains. Some streets are so flooded that a boat is required to navigate them.
Krass.
However, the world of The Last of Us is as lush and inviting as it is deadly.
Ja,
As Ellie uncovers the path to finding those who have wronged her, she must face the many threats of this unknown city. In the wake of the pandemic and the fall of the quarantine zone, Seattle has become a war zone, where two warring factions find themselves in an ongoing conflict for territory and resources. One of these groups is the Washington Liberation Front, otherwise known as the WLF. The WLF are a militia group that began as resistance to the military occupation of Seattle, and eventually wrestled control of the city from them. They are highly trained, organized, and well-equipped with weapons they stole from the army. They
Okay.
occupy much of the city, imprisoning or killing trespassers.
Hauptsache
on
erstmal schön
sight.
Waffen von der Army geklaut, ey.
Another trespasser. A girl. Did you see her?
On the other side of this
Ich auch
bloody conflict
executed.
is a group of religious zealots called the Seraphites,
Meine PS4 Pro werde ich nochmal auseinandernehmen und Lüfter,
defined by the
Wärmeleitpaste
self-inflicted deep
tauschen.
cuts that they bear across their faces. Like the WLF, they're deeply tribalistic and territorial.
Alter, auch
They're
die
known for being
Vegetation,
stealthy,
ne?
using overgrowth as cover, and they use more
Geil.
silent weapons like bows and arrows.
Clip her wings.
But beyond this conflict among survivors, the threat that originally brought the world to its knees is very much present. Every human is in danger of falling victim to the infected.
Ja, moin.
the recently infected runners, who are more numerous and aggressive in this game. The blind but extremely deadly clickers, and the stalkers, who sneak and hide until they're ready to attack, surprising their victims with extreme agility and brutal violence.
Und Brainward, danke dir für die
The
Fünfer, sehe
Last
ich
of Us
gerade.
Part 2
Dankeschön.
introduces
Vielen
new
Dank.
stages of infected, such as the Shamblers. Large, heavily armored enemies that are covered in pustules. Upon getting close to you, they expel a corrosive spore cloud that burns its victims.
Alter,
But
krass.
our most terrifying and lethal new forms of infected will have to wait until you play the game for yourselves. Overcoming these threats will require careful consideration of how you approach every combat encounter and how you leverage Ellie's unique skills, equipment, and the environment to your advantage. The WLF patrol the streets of Seattle with guard dogs, which are capable of detecting and following you, even while in cover. They can pick up your scent and alert their handlers to your presence. Listen mode will reveal your scent trail, so keep moving and cause distractions to avoid detection. 25 years after the pandemic began, the world is completely overgrown.
25 Jahre nach
Use
der
tall
Pandemie,
grass to hide
Leute.
from enemies
So
and
sieht's
go
aus.
prone to stay out of sight. However, this form of analog stealth means you're never fully hidden. If enemies get close enough, they can discover you, even in grass. When Ellie is overwhelmed, running away is a viable option. You can also break glass or crawl through tight spaces to find new paths or areas to evade or take on your enemies. In any given combat situation, you can flee an encounter and re-establish stealth to regain the advantage.
In 25 Jahren
If
bin
you
ich
absolutely
60.
have to fight your way out, there are a
Warte,
variety of
Genie.
tools at your disposal. Ellie's more agile than most of her enemies. She can sprint and quickly dodge incoming attacks. Learning how opponents attack with different weapons and mastering the timing of your dodges will prevent you from taking damage and create opportunities to counterattack. You can use throwable items or well-placed shots to stun enemies before dealing a killing blow.
Alter.
Or using them as a shield to protect yourself or buy some time to figure out your next move. Ellie isn't always alone on her journey. Allies will take part in helping you navigate the environments, spot enemies, and meaningfully help you in combat encounters.
Okay. Es gibt also wieder einen Partner auf jeden Fall. Man merkt, Ellie ist sauer.
Between the human survivors and the roaming infected, there will be times where multiple threats are present, creating new strategic considerations and opportunities. You can choose whether to attack these opponents separately
Alter,
and
guckt euch die
directly,
Beleuchtung an, ey.
or find ways to pit them against each other.
Gib jetzt Stickers.
Flee as they fight, or wait until their numbers have thinned out and engage with whomever's left. Our goal is to create unparalleled attention, coupled with deep systems that give you greater control and influence over your journey. As you play, you'll be able to invest in a broad collection of crafting items, weapon, and player upgrades through training
das kann ja
manuals
wieder
scattered
witzig
throughout the
werden.
environment and scavenging for ingredients. These skills and upgrade manuals cater to a variety of playstyles, and the choices you make will create your own distinct experience. We also wanted to extend that agency and personalization to your weapons through our new workbench system. Scavenge for parts to modify and improve your weapons'
Ja,
performance
ist schon
and
krass,
attributes,
auf höchstem
all
Niveau.
of which are visualized and become part of your character.
Aber das ist ja am Ende einer Konsolengeneration immer so gut. Das ist ja das Tolle, was man in den paar Jahren noch aus derselben Hardware rausholen kann. Das finde ich ja immer faszinierend.
Survival will also require using the parts and ingredients that you'll find in the environment, which can be crafted into a wide range of defensive and offensive items, like proximity mines, explosive arrows, pistol suppressors, and more.
Also den hat er jetzt komplett auseinandergenommen, ey.
Are meant to immerse you in the world and make you feel in lockstep with Ellie's emotional journey.
Ah, und wieder dieser geile Soundtrack, ne?
As we've said before, this is Naughty Dog's largest, most ambitious game. It may seem like we covered a lot, but we've only scratched the surface of what it's like to play The Last of Us Part 2. We can't wait for you to experience it all for yourself on June 19th. Until then, here's an extended sequence of never-before-seen gameplay.
Oh, neues
Enjoy.
Gameplay. Neues Gameplay. Let's go, der Hase. Oh mein Gott, das sieht so gut aus. Nur die Bitrate ist wieder schwierig. Das kriegen sie irgendwie nicht hin. Oh, zieht euch das rein, ey. Auch so die Spiegelung im Wasser und sowas alles. Das ist kein Raytracing, aber trotzdem so gut gemacht. Ich gehe mal davon aus, dass es auf der PS4 Pro gemacht haben, aber große Downgrades wird es nicht geben. Gerade Naughty Dog versteht ja auch auf der alten Hardware noch gute Ergebnisse rauszuholen. Ist so artig, ne?
Don't make a fucking sound. Hands up.
Schöne PS Vita in der Hand.
Name Nora? Sure, yeah. Where is she?
In the hospital.
Where in the hospital?
Yeah, they're clearing out the upper floors. She's somewhere in there.
Ja, so. Da habt ihr eure Brutalität, Leute. Die gibt's doch. Kann man die nehmen? PS Vita in der Hand, schlechtes Oben. Ich fand die PS Vita gut, leider zu wenig Spiele im europäischen Markt. Aber sonst schöne Konsole. Oh, jetzt wird's gleich knallen.
I'm telling you, man. Data soldier. It makes these shifts so much easier.
Sure. I'll keep that in mind.
Fuck. Sounds like scars are getting closer.
Hope that's our guys executing those freaks.
Hey, did you hear about it all getting called up to the fob?
I heard that Isaac wants us to retake all of downtown.
I heard we might take the fight to them.
No way. Not after what went down last time. Even Isaac isn't that crazy.
That's what I heard.
Shut up. All right. Calm down.
Boah, Alter. Die Geräusche, ey. Ah, ich hab schon so Bock auf das Spiel, ne? Für PS Vita, genau. Last of Us, the Free-to-Play Game. Ein Schuss, 2 Euro. Ein Molly 3 Euro. Oh! Alter, die Soundkulisse von den Leuten, ey. Das macht einen ja wahnsinnig. Übel, ey. Boah. Peter ist informiert. Ja, ich glaube, die Peter wird wieder drauf abgehen. Wie immer. Wenn sie nichts zu sagen haben.
Just like that.
Hot Dog. Ah, es wird wieder so geil, ey. Oh oh. Automatische Schusswaffen. Aber es scheint schon relativ weit im Spiel zu sein. Die hat schon einiges an Equipment, was er da mit sich rumschleppt. Das glaube ich nicht. Mega Mario.
Shit! Shit! Look out! Move! Over here! Drop her now! Asshole!
In jeder Waffe hat sie gerade mal 1 bis 2 Schuss. Ja, vielleicht survivaliger als der erste Teil, oder? Und rein damit. Ja, moin. Und tschüss. Alter, die Animationen sind auch so krank. Wie lange haben die denn daran gesessen? Ellie hat nicht mehr alle Tassen im Schrank. Ich glaube auch. Das haben die Leute aber schon beim ersten Teil gesagt, Steff. Ich glaube, es ist alles
That you, Nora?
fast so gut animiert wie Schwert und Schild. Den Orks riss ich. Nicht vor dem... Oh, Entschuldigung. Ich vergesse immer, dass das Mikro jetzt hier ist. Danke für den Hinweis.
When Isaac talks to us about this,
I'm getting tired of this.
Nora. Nora! I'm not going down for her, man.
Das ist so, Trifolium. Spiegel, grüß dich. Oh Gott, ey, wenn irgendwann mal Last of Us 3 kommt, ne, das auf der PlayStation 5 so in 3-4 Jahren.
Don't scream. Put that shit down.
Oh oh.
You remember me? Yeah. You remember me.
Die können uns doch jetzt nicht so hängen lassen. Ah, und Sanko, danke dir. 19.06. Es ist soweit, ey. Ah, Cliffhanger des Todes, ey. Hätte noch Stunden zugucken können, ey. Das wird so... Ja, ihr merkt schon, ganz neutral bin ich nicht. Ich bin gerade ein bisschen hyped. Geht das noch ein bisschen, oder? Ich glaube, da kommt nichts mehr. Es bleibt aber... Ah, okay. Alter, Leute. Leute. Krass. Krass. Also auf jeden Fall heftig. Hat mir gut gefallen. War alles spoilerfrei tatsächlich, ja. Ich bin überrascht. Vielen lieben Dank für die neuen VIP-Mitgliedschaften und für die Leute, die mir auf Twitch gefollowt sind. Das wird definitiv gespielt auf Twitch. Gut. Leute, aber bevor jetzt irgendwer noch reinkommt und hier Rambazamba macht, wir beenden für heute den Stream. Ich bedanke mich an alle, die nochmal bei der Live-Reaction zugeguckt haben. Viel gesagt habe ich nicht, aber ich bin absolut überzeugt von dem Spiel immer noch. Und ja, ich wünsche euch was, ne? Bis zum nächsten Mal und tschüss. Gute Nacht.